Hey, yeah, what's up? This disciple Marcello Kearns reign back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day. So anti-Freemason all day, Joel. So this message is basically going to be about the African American community as far as the American government goes. Is only needed for the culture. You only need it basically for show business. You only need it for, I'm not being stereotypical, but the sports, the entertainment business. If it wasn't for that, on a day-to-day basis, as far as labor and workforce, you're not needed anymore. As far as they see it, as far as they concerned, they see it probably most likely though as they can use the Mexicans. They can use Mexicans as the whole workforce for America. Period. And so, see, a lot of people don't understand that. So all you understand is you're not loved, you're not liked, you don't know what's coming next, you don't really know, you don't really see the whole aspect of the situation. You don't really know what's being planned, how it's being planned. All you know is Mexicans are coming in and overpopulating the country. I ain't gonna say overpopulating, populating the country. And you're working less as a community and you're shooting people more than everybody. You're killing people more than everybody. So you put it together. How do you see your community as as how you see your community as a liability or an asset? I'm not talking about being biased. Being 100 as far as real issues, the killing, the lack of working, how you see it compared to a whole Mexican workforce that will put their head down and work. You can't compare to that as far as workforce. So that means, and that speaks for on an everyday basis. That's on an everyday basis, bro. They got a whole workforce, and it's deeper than you realize. In every great metropolis, it's deeper than you realize. It's everywhere. They have a whole workforce that they can use, and they wouldn't need you. You could go anywhere you wanted to go outside of America, and they will pull in the Mexicans and bring programs to pull them in and to work the country. So they already have a plan already. They already have a plan already. They already have a plan already. So if you're not aware of that, you'll sit up here and think we're valuable, we're needed. We're viable to the American government. We're needed by the American government. No, you're not. Why they need you? I'm talking on an everyday basis. Who you think they need the most? You, us, or the Mexican American workforce? So the only reason you really are considered an asset, now you need to hear this. Because I thought about this when I was having a conversation with my mom on the phone. The only reason you're needed, as far as they're concerned, who don't care nothing about your life or your livelihood or none of that. They don't care nothing about that. They don't care nothing about your culture, really. So what are you needed for? Why would they need you? For show business. All the singers, all of that brings in the money, the acting, the movies, all of that. The sports, especially the sports. It's big money for African Americans in sports in general. So it's all about, that's where you're an asset to the Americans. Now, take that away. If you take that away, right, what are you necessary for? That's what I'm saying. If you took that away, how would you think you would be, how differently do you think you would be treated in this country? If you was not providing entertainment, sports, all of that, right? If you was not providing the culture, that you provide to the American community, how do you think you'll be treated based on the day-to-day everyday people in the country? How do you think you'll be seen? Huh? How do you think you'll be seen? Yeah. Playing no games. Sucker. So yeah, that's basically what it is. You know, if you don't realize that, you'll be sitting back talking about, oh, yeah, we moving forward. You sure about that? Because all they really do with non-white people is utilize them. So let's keep it 100. I know all white people are not like this. I'm not simple-minded. I know all white people are not like this, but there is a majority of force that is like this here. And they're all about utilizing. That's all they're about. That's all they're about, utilizing people. That being said, when they can't utilize you no more and you become more of a liability, what you think is going to happen? I told you, man, history is full of shocks. History is full of shocks. You don't know what's going to happen. You can't predict what's going to happen. All you know is in your community and your history, in your world, is full of unpredictable happenings and occurrences. So you don't know what's going to happen. All you know is day by day, the African American community on a ground level is becoming more of a liability and less of an asset. They're working Mexicans more. That's the whole workforce. You don't realize that really they're using. We've already decided a long time ago to stop working on a level where it don't make sense, like it's not really making no money. We've been done with that. We have become selective. Why the Mexican Americans are not selective. They'll do anything. Now some younger especially won't. But then the ones that's coming here consistently, that's just getting here, they'll do anything. So that being said, you're becoming less of an asset and more of a liability with all the killings, all the just all the confusion, not working as you once would. So now see, that's where it's coming in at. That's where it's coming in at. You becoming a liability. Hey yo, can you keep it down? Like we're in the build. Can you keep it down? I can hear you way out here. I can hear you way in here. I was wondering, no one else speaks in the hallway like that. The man is going to say something to you. Silas, say something. He doesn't allow anybody to speak in the hallway like that. Thank you.
Excuse me. One moment, please. I've been here for 20 years.
Okay, so that's basically what it's all about. You know, that being said, that being said, you know, basically that's the real issue. You know, if you don't realize this, you'll be sitting up thinking, oh, well, everything's gonna stay as usual. And you don't realize their plans. You don't realize what their plans are. And you don't realize what their plans are and what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? So that being said, you know, you feel how you feel, but you gotta know how other people feel. That's what you gotta know. That's how you're gonna make it. You know, so if you just go by, oh well, you know, we're moving forward. How? How are you moving forward? How you feel you moving forward? Huh? How are you moving forward? Because the only thing that's really moving forward, you say the culture, but the culture is for rich people. They're using them. They are I don't know no other way to put it. They are the cotton pickers as far as how they see it. The rich people are the ones that they can use to pick the cotton per se. And so as far as the African American community goes, they're not utilizing them as a workforce. They're utilizing them as culturally, as far as they're famous people. That's how they're using them. That's their workforce. So see, they still win because even though you're not working out in the workforce as a community, they make up for all that money by the rich African Americans that's working their fields. That's a 7 Al. That's how they getting you. That's how they getting you right there. That's how they get you. They getting you because they still making up for all the money that they don't get from you working. The money that they don't get from you working. Okay? And not working as they feel you should or consistently working. And there's many reasons. I'm not saying you're wrong for it. I'm saying that you looked at as a liability. And that being said, they went around that and started, over the years, cultivating a perfect workforce. Okay? And it ain't Mexican Americans' fault. I don't blame them for it. My thing is this. If you work hard for your money, I don't have no problem with that. Who would I be to have a problem with you working hard for your money? I don't have a problem with that. So I'm not one of those type of Americans that look back and say, well, they're taking all the money. They're taking all the jobs. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. You ever heard me say that? I'm not saying they're taking all the jobs. Because how I feel personally, if you're on your grind and hustle and you really want a job, if that's what you're really trying to do, no, besides one ethnicity, no ethnicity can take it from you. Nobody can take an opportunity from you. Now, technically speaking, it may be taken from you, but if you continue to apply yourself, if that's what you want to do, then who can stop you? Who can stop you? You feel me? So that being said, I don't look at that situation as something that's blocking me. I ain't no player hater. You know what I'm saying? If you getting your bread, however you get it, listen, that's you. That's not my point. My point and my thing is with the American government and for real and their perspective of the whole situation and what they doing. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about you just up there working and that's a problem. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how it's being utilized here in America. I'm showing people how their perspective is on it here in America. And their perspective is, well, we don't need black people no more. Now you see how I'm full circle to my message. We don't need them no more. We don't need them. We just got this workforce over here. We don't need that. They're argumentative, prideful. We don't need that. We got a whole workforce over here that ain't got no problems at all, literally, and they just work and that's it. You think they gonna let that intertwine with you in your community? They ain't gonna let it happen. They ain't gonna let that intertwine with your community. They ain't gonna let it happen. So they already had a separation between you and them because Mexican Americans and African Americans, that's why we never really are together per se, because of the workforce situation where America had plans to utilize them as a workforce. And they don't know it yet. Some do, some don't. But think about it. This is a place, this is a government, this is a community that's all about the slave trade. That's a seven in itself. It's all about the trade slave. It never stopped. It never stopped. Because if you ain't working for a living wage, if you're not working for a living wage, which means you're able to go get an apartment in your metropolis where you live at, if you're not able to go get an apartment with the job that you're working, or in a house with the job that you're working, you don't make a living wage. You know how many people that work that don't make a living wage? They have to put money together to make it something profitable in this community. You know how many people do that? So if you're working and you're not able to live at a place, in an apartment, that's slavery. They're using you and making money off of you and using you to work their company. Meanwhile, you're not able to get off the streets. Meanwhile, you are not making a living wage. Now, see, that's another message I got to do. If you're not making a living wage, you're in slavery. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Because you're working for a company, you're working for a business, and they're making all the money, buku money. And what you're making, not even enough to get an apartment, not even enough to get a place to stay. That ain't slavery? It is, because just like slaves did here in the slave trade here, they just worked, and the white Americans lived off of their work, but they had nothing. They had nowhere they couldn't obviously purchase nothing because they had nothing. And so this is the trick where it gets tricky. With a lot of people, you can't read between the lines between a job that is a living wage and the slave trade, where you're working for businesses. I don't care what it is, big corporations, all these corporations, Kellogg's and McDonald's, and all these places people working at, but you ain't got a living wage. If you doing those kind of jobs, you need to check your greater area, the greater area you live in, whether you live in the greater Dallas area or the greater Phoenix area, wherever you live, you need to look at the average minimum wage, obviously, and the average pay in the city, and compare and put that next to the cost of living. And if the cost of living beats the living wage, if it beats the minimum wage and the average wage that you have going in your city, then that means all those people are slaves. Boom. So places like San Francisco, where people work in places and they can't afford nowhere to stay, what do you think they're working for? They're working for a company, but they meanwhile have no place to stay. That's slavery. And that's what you have going on. That being said, now come back full circle to my message. You have somebody that's working, that is not willing to work. Many African Americans, young kids, people my age, many of us are not willing to work. We were not willing to do anything because we know there's better. We see the opportunities that many people don't see because they ain't been here long enough. Some people have been here long enough, some people haven't. But culturally speaking, they still might do whatever. And culturally speaking, we might not do whatever. We don't do whatever. And so now you're not really a slave working for a business. And so how you think they're looking at you now? Oh, just let them be. Just let them be. I told you again and again, history is full of shocks. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Things have been smooth sailing too long. You think COVID is a shock, but see, that's a catalyst. COVID is going to be a catalyst for the big shock. I know you don't want to believe it, do you? COVID-19 is going to be a catalyst for the big shock that's coming. Yeah, yeah. You got all comfortable. You know what? Ironically, what you got how you got comfortable? You got comfortable because of the culture. All this entertainment made you feel like everything's all good. Everything's good. Look at what they're doing. Look at these movies. Look at these shows. Everything's good. You sure about that? You sure that's gonna be able to hold up? And making you good out here in this community? Okay. You sure these rappers and all this stuff that's going on TV gonna be able to hold you up in the community? That's 7 hours. You sure all this stuff that they talking about they doing and all these plans they got going, as far as rich people and rich Americans, African Americans, you think that's gonna be able to hold up your community? You think that's gonna take care of your community? When you got your community not really willing to work and willing to do certain things, and you got a whole Mexican American workforce that's ready to go. As soon as they turn 18, they ready to go. Not mentioning how they work up into their upper years, doing any and everything. You sure you can hold up with the rich folks not even really helping you? Rich black folks not really helping you. You think you're gonna be able to hold up? If there's a shock connected to COVID-19, you think you're gonna be able to still hold up? Because history is full of shocks. I want to say more to that point. You think all this masquerade of these prosperous African Americans, you think that's going to stop you from experiencing this big shock? What they doing is going to stop you from being subject to the government and what they want to do. It's a masquerade. So are these famous people stopping your black people from getting shot by each other and the police? They're not stopping that, are they? No matter how much money they got, no matter how much cool they look, how cool their life look, how good they look, they're not affecting your personal lives, are they? So how much more if the American government decides to do this, that, and the third with the African American community, how are they going to have something to do with it? How are they going to stop it? How are they going to get them off you? They ain't been getting them off of you, have they? Not really. That's what I'm trying to show you. But you standing there looking at them like them your leaders. But have they ever been successful? Are they presently successful with getting the government to see things your way? I'm talking about the rich black people. Why aren't they mediating for you? So then you just look for them for hope, and there ain't really no hope in that. How is it hope in it when they ain't even helping you? Think about it. How is it hope in that when it is not connected to you? They may pick people from your community to fleece and to utilize, but at the end of the day, how are they a bridge to you over into the land that they're living in? And you know the other thing? They got you as the consumer. That's how you the slave. You know how the everyday African American is a slave? You're not a slave by working anymore. Nuh-uh. You have to buy the movies and the music of the real slaves that works the fields for the American government, which is the famous African Americans. See, that's how racist they are. They made slaves out of the African Americans, beautiful with talents. We'll utilize them. Oh, I know you didn't get it, did you? You didn't realize it. You didn't realize it. See, you waiting for names. You waiting for hate. You waiting for emotions. When this enemy has went under the water, start killing underwater, boom. Yeah, you was waiting for him to come on the surface and come out in the woods. He's killing in the water. When stuff just pull you down and you don't know what happened. That's how racism is working now. They just pull you under the water. Nobody don't know what happened. They saw you swimming and then. So they've been working. The racists. They've been working the slave. The new slaves is the ones that's working in these rich fields, these entertainment fields. They got you up there because they couldn't do it on the lower level for many reasons. They couldn't do it like they obviously could want to do it because it would be considered racist how they treat you as far as labor and all of that. That's the obvious foundational reason. The other reason is, the main primary other reason is that you were unwilling at some point to do it when you seen the feast that the white man was having. You said, I ain't doing that. You look at what you're doing. So he went around it and said, hey, well, I'll just work these right here. I'll work them. So what I'll do is, the ones that's unwilling to work, I make them pay to see the movies and all of this stuff. I'll pay them. I want them to pay my slaves, and I'll take the money out of my slaves' hand. And I'll take my portion, so I still get what I need, even though they ain't work for me. I'ma still get money off of them. So they still get money off of you as a community, as a consumer, and they still. So if you don't work for them, where they can get money like that, they'll take literally the money you give to the leaders of your community. They'll take a portion of that. And they're getting money from them meanwhile. So they still utilizing you. You just give them naked money, which is, some would say, a sarcastic joke. Okay, you don't want to work for me and make me some money? Then I'll just take your money. I'll take the little money you got. And you'll go see concerts. You'll go watch movies and stimulate the economy. Stimulate the money, the pockets of my famous slave trade. That's what you'll do. And you'll stimulate that. And I'll still benefit off of everybody. That's how they doing it. But let's just say, now that you hear that part, let's just say, now you take away the famous field, and there is no entertainment and there is none of that. How you think they're going to see you then? When you already barely working. You already more of a liability from the killing and all of that. You're already more. You're already more, right? So what do you think, how do you think they're going to see you then? You didn't consider this. And like I can't stress enough, life history is full of shocks, and you're secure from thinking this way because you look at TV and you look at the entertainment and you look at people like yourselves over there, but there is no support they have no intentions of supporting you. It doesn't look like it. So they're working them, and then they give them a mentality like, you with us now. You don't need to really help them. Explain why they're not helping you. Explain why rich African Americans are not helping you. Because they have been separated from you too. That's the 7th hour. Explain why they got millions of dollars and they don't have no cause, but they're taking your money. And they're taking street credibility from where you live at. Well, they'll go back home to shoot a video from the hood, where they come from. They'll go shoot a video from the hood where they come from and get all the love from the community. But they will not support you though. They won't really pull you out of it. So they fleecing you. See that? These rappers go get street credibility from the hood they came from. Right or wrong. First thing they do is go shoot a video from the hood. Boom. They have utilized you as a brand. The ghetto is a brand. I gotta do a video about this too. The ghetto of America is a brand through just hip hop. Each ghetto is a brand. Compton is a brand. Right or wrong. If you're from Compton, you're more likely to be successful as a rapper. Right? Oh, that ain't true. Then guess what that means? Compton needs committees so that they can communicate, so that they can negotiate their brand with rappers. Oh, y'all don't like that, do you? Ooh, you don't like that, do you? Compton needs a committee to where they negotiate with brands with rappers and be able to say, okay, you taking street cred from where we come from. We want to make sure you good first. What's your plans? Boom, Al, that's a 7. What you plan on doing? What plans do you got, as far as the African American community, how you feel? You need to start doing that. Brooklyn is a brand. Business speaking. The brand of these neighborhoods and cities do more of the networking than the actual artist itself. It does more of the success as well. So you don't think they need committees? They should. Now, I'm a businessman. You should have official committees who you trust that is connected to the culture and just wise men of discernment, wise women of discernment that is able to create committees in each of these ghettos and these neighborhoods that have big names and big brands and just ring bells with the community. Those type of neighborhoods and cities, y'all need to have committees over them. Those type of neighborhoods and cities, yes, you need to have a brand. You need to have committees over them, but you don't quite have it. You have people you got OGs that make that making people check in. That ain't gonna hold up, bro. Because I'm talking about even comedians. I'm talking about everything that comes from that brand. That reference that brand needs to check in with the committee, not with some OG that some will consider is a problem, not an asset, bro. Oh, boom, Al. People thinking spiritual people like me thinking, why should people check in with you? You a destructive force. Why should they check in with you? Therefore, there needs to be another committee. I'm talking about if you're trying to be professional, there needs to be another committee that is respected from all aspects of life. That people that come from that brand or referencing to that brand or that neighborhood or even city will make you come before them and you will have to be successful to them as well. This is how we stop all of the culture becoming toxic back out to the community, pumping out toxic stuff, toxic waste. You don't have no committees in place over all these neighborhoods and cities. You don't have no committee, so everybody come out using brands, using names of ghettos, which are brands, and they become successful. But and they pull, and because they're not about the community, their success is like toxic waste to the community. And this is all because you didn't have a chain of command, and you didn't have a structure of leadership. So some would say that the actual culture that white Americans are using, some spiritual African Americans will say it's not even profitable. Not before God. Not before God. Most of it is not profitable. Not before God. So then what is that? So then what do you really have? Now you see what I'm saying. You already got killing going on. You already got that going on. That's a liability. You're not working. That's a liability. And by God's standard, the culture is not profitable. That's another liability. And that's a spiritual liability too. I'm just giving you sights to see ahead. That's all it is. Take it for what it is. Not what you're trying to make it to be, not your interpretation of what I'm saying, not none of that funny intuition reading stuff. I ain't talking about none of that. You need to get off that anyway. We've been off that. Because if all that reading and intuition stuff was helping you, how come you still in destruction? And that's as a whole American community. Okay, you reading and mind reading and doing all of this spiritual mumbo jumbo, this psychic mumbo jumbo, this telepathy mumbo jumbo, but it's not delivering you, is it? What I'm saying is delivering people. What I'm saying is bringing deliverance. What you're doing is doing nothing but spiritual acrobats. That's all you're doing. Watch them out there in the community. All it is spiritual acrobats, man. And I got to do a video about that, which has become corny. We don't care about what you, psychic power and telepathy power and in mind technology that the government has and all this illegal surveillance and your synchronicity, which means nothing. Your synchronicity, they out there, their synchronicity means nothing. It's the equivalent of spiritual acrobats that's mumbo jumbo. That's what it is. It's gibberish. Our spiritual acrobats mean something. Yours doesn't. You're synthetic. That's why I made a video called Synthetic Synchronicity. Yeah, you on time because you got military doing military operations. You're on time, but it doesn't mean nothing. Boom. Ow. That's 7. Yeah, you're on time, but you ain't got nothing going on. So synchronicity with nothing is nothing. Tell all your Star Wars fans that part. Tell all your Star Wars fans that part right there. That all that running around, being on time, throwing time triggers, like being in certain places on time at a certain time, none of that means anything when you have nothing to give. I know you forgot that part. That's what you forgot. What are you here to do? You ain't got nothing to do. So you just here on time. Okay, boom, ow, that's 7. You just here on time. Okay. See, I'm here on time and then something's released. That's what the spiritual kingdom do. We show up with synchronicity on time with a release. That's the difference. And you want to be the king, y'all kingdom want to be like us. Cause I can see what y'all doing. You got synchronicity acrobats, right? But nothing comes out of it. Every time we move and do something, something comes out of it. Every time I make a video, something comes out of it. Every step I make, because I am led by the Holy Ghost, something comes out of it. The copycat Americans, they act like they're led, right? In synchronicity, but then we don't see nothing happen. When they fight me, pay attention. When they fight me, something happens, doesn't it? That's what I'm trying to show you. They showing up with nothing. And even in warfare, what are they doing to me? And you respect that. What are they doing? What plans do they really have? You heard with all this information I just released. What plans they got that's comparable to that? What insight they got that's comparable to that? Yeah, that's the real competition, not you riding around trying to harm somebody. If you want a contest, let's compare all contests. Let's do all the contests. Let's not just do the Mario Go-Kart contest where you ride around in vehicular emotions gang stalking. That's what you're doing. You're doing vehicular gang stalking. You call that a contest. I don't. You want to do a contest? Let's do a contest of information. You lose already. You got 44 states for child marriage. That's a 7 hour. You already lost. Ain't no competition. You want to do a competition of purity? You got child marriage here. It's over with. What else? Yeah, it's more than one contest, dummies. Vehicular go-kart riding around. Come on, you can't be serious. Gang stalking, you think that's the only contest you're going to get from God? From the kingdom of God, you think that's the only competition? That's why you're losing, buddy. That's why you're losing. That's cornball stuff. It doesn't mean anything. All you trying to do is cause psychological influence, making the people feel like, man, they're really cool. They're really bad. You ain't bad. Look what he put on you. Look at your country, man. Man, you can't be serious, bro. And all they trying to do for everybody that's listening, all they trying to do is save face. That's all. They've been defeated. Can't you see that? So the riding around is to save face. That's all it is. Can't you see that? Yeah, they ain't fooling me. They trying to save face. Well, how are you gonna win when you got 43 states of child marriage? How can you possibly win in the courts of real masters of war? How can you really win when you marrying children? China, where the greatest martial arts come from, they're not marrying children. So the masters of war there would not respect the Americans. You got child marriage here. The Russians, who do not have child marriage, the masters of war there would not respect you. Don't you see that? So how could you win? They would not see you as even able to compete with them because of what you do with children. I know it doesn't matter, but it matters to real masters. You want to be nonchalant about it, but it matters to real masters, bro. Yeah, it's convenient for you not to think about it and not to talk about it because you got the liability concerning it. Of course, whose intelligence are you insulting? Of course, you're going to be nonchalant about the whole situation because you got the liability. Of course, now you want to split hairs about what age people are able to have sex with because you have a possible liability. You do got a liability, but you look at it as a possible liability. That's the arrogant Americans. They think they have a possible liability. A possible liability now. All these games they played over the years, all these movies they made of catching child molesters, and they got 43 states of child marriage. Ow. Oh, whoa. Come on now. You contradicting your culture. You're contradicting your culture. That's what we're talking about. And no one cares about individual pedophiles anymore. Not anymore. When you have 43 states of child marriage, who cares about some loose individual pedophile? Who cares about that loose individual pedophile anymore? It's a drop in the bucket compared to 43 states of child marriage. That's a 7 owl. That's a drop in the bucket. An individual pedophile compared to you with 43 states of child marriage. You can't be serious, bro. You're a joke. Don't you see that? It doesn't matter what you do. All the spiritual mumbo jumbo and acrobats. If you think I'm not convinced that you're defeated, you're tripping. That's why I'm still harping on it. Well, if I wasn't convinced, why am I still harping on it? I'm obviously convinced that you are defeated. You got the Russians, they don't have child marriage. You got the Chinese, they don't have child marriage. Who else? Who else? Who else? All the ones you respect, most of them, do not have child marriage, bro. At all. No laws at all. And that's why you can't see me and you look like a clown trying to. You look like clowns trying to come see me. Now you see how I got them? They all gathered around, and then I took a 12 gauge and put it straight to the chest of the American community. Yeah, you pulled up. Boom. Hit him with that 12 gauge right in the chest. Hit him with that information 12 gauge right in the chest. Ain't no way you can get away from that. How you gonna get away from that? How? Listen, man. It ain't no way. Ain't no way. No disrespect, but that's like Ricky on Boys in the Hood. Ricky! Boy, you can run. You trying to run like Ricky did. Boom. That double barrage 12 gauge. Boom. And it's over with, bro. Ain't no way in the world you finna get away from that. You got 43 states of child marriage here in America. There ain't no way you getting away from that. Ain't no way. It's no way. That's all I'm trying to say. It's no way, bro. Ain't no gangster can pull you out of it. Ain't no cool person can pull you out of it. Ain't no famous people can pull you out of it. Ain't no preachers can pull you out of it. Ain't no Avengers or no type of Avenger spirit can pull you out of that. Ain't no military. How they gonna pull you out of it? And the UCMJ program in the military, they got the age of consent at 16. How they gonna pull you out of something they doing too? I know, see? You see how God works? He provides, doesn't he? He provides what we need to defeat our enemies. Because ain't no way you acknowledged on the same level anymore. You're not acknowledged as Chinese. The Chinese are laughing at you. You can't seem to leave those children alone, can you? The Russians laughing at you too. Can't seem to leave those children alone. But yet here you are badgering people in your community when your American government has child marriage and your whole stupid community is riding around like they have one of their own. Hey, if someone was a child molester, it would only be one of your own. You have 43 states of child marriage. Wouldn't a child molester be one of your own? Oh, boy, that's good. I could run around my apartment. So it doesn't make sense to us, right? That know better, right? When you know better, you do better, right? So if you have 43 states of child marriage and you're running around like you have a pedophile, wouldn't it be just having one of your own? If you're educated and you realize what's going on, right here in New York, you got the age of consent at 17. You got the age of consent at 17, bruh. That's not an adult. You know how I know it's not? Because all these 17-year-olds that's having sex with adults here in New York, I know they're doing it because they're against the kingdom of God. So they're doing it to defy right now. Oh, that's a 7. I'm pretty sure it's many men having sex with many 17-year-old girls right here in New York just because they hate us. But guess what? If they went down to Florida and had sex with a 17-year-old girl, guess what happened? Guess what would happen in Florida? If you had sex with a 17-year-old girl doing the same thing you do up here in New York, because the law is the age of consent is at 17 here in New York. Guess what happened if you went to Florida with that mentality? They would arrest you. You know that, right? So that tells you right there. That tells you right there. That tells you, it shows you right there. So all I need you to see is that you already have liabilities. You already have defeat. And yet you have people that's still gang stalking in your country. One of your own. They're Americans. They're one of your own. Oh, they're not a part of us. Okay. For that to be true, they would have to be illegally here. Then I would give you that. If the gang stalkers were illegally here, then I would say, yeah, that's not a part of America. But if they have social security numbers, American social security numbers, IDs and driver licenses that these secret societies have that are American, I don't care what they say. You know what system they rely on? You know what their ID says? You know what their social security number says? America. That's what it says. It doesn't. Now, if you was a secret society with a new social security number and even a new ID and driver's license that was not a part of this society, then yeah, but you're a part of the American society, buddy. Now, you can play Clubhouse like we're in the Clubhouse. We're part of a secret society like little kids. We're in the Clubhouse. Okay, you still have social security numbers that are American. You still have IDs and driver licenses are American, which means America takes the liability. Well, you should be controlling your community. I shouldn't have to do nothing. That's your liability, not mine. Because if we got to do something about it, then more people are going to suffer. Obviously, because you didn't handle, I don't have to pinpoint the problem. You do. You know why I don't have to point the problem to a secret society and just because you think, well, he shouldn't be targeting all of us. It's the secret society. Are you sure about that? Are you sure that it's only them that's involved? When all these people in local delis and local supermarkets are involved with them, when they're taking gift cards to GameStop, your everyday American citizens are taking money and gift cards to GameStop. You sure it's just the secret societies? So see, what the stupid secret society didn't know is they involved portions of the American community, which brought the liability on the whole community. Ow. So now it wouldn't be precise, if you will, to bring judgment only on them when the American community took money from them. Yes, you did. You sold your soul. You took money from them and you listened to stuff you didn't see. And now you want to be sorry about it. Nah, that's life, bro. That's life. That's life. You chose to play a game you shouldn't have played. Now you got a liability. That's all it is, man. That's real life. You got to be men and women about it. You got to be men and women about it because it ain't going away. In a perfect world, I know this should show you, this should feel like life to you, shouldn't it? I'm not talking about fantasy plans and destinies and programs of the American government and all this fixed clown circus business. I'm not talking about all of that. Doesn't it feel like life? That something is always going wrong, ain't it? I'm not saying God made a bad world. Man made a bad world. And it should feel like life to you if you're old enough and lived long enough. This is life. They played games and look what happened. They had to make us, we all suffer because of it. To some degree, we all suffer, right? This is life. And you know it and I know it. If you live long enough, you know it. And you know life is not going to let these people get away with it. You know this, man. You know this. You know better than this. But they convinced you that they could get away with it. How? How? You explain to me when you've seen all these crazy things in your lifetime. If you live, I'm talking to old people now. You don't live long enough and you know, you've seen all this stuff happen to people. Evil people that did evil things. You've lived long enough to see it happen. All the people running around like Leroy Brown. Baddest man in the whole dang town. Badder than you and me. Huh? Badder than King Kong, huh? Bad Leroy Brown. Baddest man in the whole darn town. See, you thought I was Leroy Brown. I ain't Leroy Brown, buddy. These gang stalkers think they Leroy Brown. And they're going to be diced up and cut up just like Leroy Brown was. Boom, out, this 7. That was the end on the song. Got cut up like a puzzle, they say. And while we're on the subject of Leroy Brown, the culture acts like that. You act like you Leroy Brown, brother. Leroy Brown, baddest man in the whole darn town. Badder than old King Kong. Until God. That's how I put it. Until God. And you live long enough, you older people. You've lived long enough to know how life goes, and it ain't gonna go no different than this time. And you know we due for a shock right now. You know this. We're due for it. We're due for something big and major to change and alter the communities. We're due for it. As far as the patterns of the past, we're due for this huge life-altering shock to the whole community that affects us collectively. We're due for it. And you in denial because you've been living in a circus so long that when I tell you, just like how life has been this whole time, when I come telling you that life has been in a certain way and pattern, and the big life-altering shock is coming to the community, You've been in the circus so long, you don't believe it, do you? Oh, they made too many phones and too much technology for you to believe that God still can shock the whole country. Not considering not any other things, network, CNN. God don't have to explain to CNN what he's doing. God does not have to explain to Fox News why it ain't there no more. God does not have to explain to the world why America is gone. Think about it. God doesn't have to explain this to you or me. It's gone. It's over. You shouldn't have tried to be Leroy Brown. Baddest man in the whole town. Badder than you and me. That's what you tried to do. And you think you think it's me. They told you it was me that was projecting myself like some tough guy. No. What has happened is I've defended myself, and you see what happens when you play with a prophet of God. That's all that happened. And that's how I'm supposed to be. But they making it look like I'm the aggressor. That's foolishness. You see all this gang stalking, how I'm the aggressor. So it's going to work in my favor, even though I'm at war, because, listen, I'm on the defense. I'm supposed to defend myself as a fully grown man, not as some incompetent man-child. If I was an incompetent man-child, maybe you could play with me, but now you see I'm a fully grown lion devouring your community. And I'm suppressing all my emotion like a real soldier do in war. I'm suppressing all my emotion. I don't care what I see on TV. I don't care what I see in the culture. I don't care what y'all do. I don't care who have fun, new life in their family. I don't care about none of that, bro. It's about God's judgment, man. You like that's the difference. See, some of y'all soft. Soon as something happens, soon as something good happens in the culture, now you back with them. I don't listen. That's them. That's them, bro. That's their life. That's not mine. This is the country that played with me. So of course it's personal. I can't make you feel like I feel. All I can show you at best real reasons why you shouldn't be with this country. They got 43 states of child marriage. That's the foundation. That's why gay people, straight people, and everything in between should not be supporting America. See, you thought I was against gay people. I got them feeling me too. Well, you got 43 states of child marriage, but you locking up R. Kelly. And you're quicker to assume that because, this is what I heard, they're quicker to assume that somebody's perverted because they're gay. They think because you will be with a man, oh, you'll do anything. Or you'll be with a woman, you weird, you'll do anything. That's how crazy, kooky Americans think. I don't think like that. I've met respectable gay people as far as children go, right? But America ain't trying to hear that. They got a little secret thought that you all are pedophiles. They think, go check. Go check. You ain't got to take my word for it. Go check. This is what I heard. This ain't my assumption. And it explains the energy that's been around me. It explains it. It explains it. So all I'm saying is this, bro. You know what I'm saying? You letting the enemy, you gotta remember, you letting the enemy live, and you gotta remember all he's done. You got like you looking at all this cultural stuff, that's what he gonna do, like a clown. He gonna try to bring black people. Look at these black people. Think about this horror clown, like that It movie, like, you know. Think about this clown that says, look at the black people though. You shouldn't kill me. You shouldn't try to overthrow me. Look at these black people. Look at these Mexicans. Look at these Hispanics and Latinos. You shouldn't try to overthrow me. You must be crazy. I love you. Does he really love you? Do the same thing to gay people. Look how we put 50 states of gay marriage. See, listen. They have to get you on their side. Because you know why? Because you know what they fear the most? Uprising revolutions and rebellions. Hey, it's more of you than them. If you uprise and you start rebellions and revolutions, what are they going to do? First of all, realize this: they will have nobody to work for them. They will have nobody to they will have nobody to utilize. That's worse than them dying almost. These people, for you to stop their high price life that they live, that's almost a death to them in itself. This is real, guys. I'm talking facts here. If you uprose many and started rebellions and revolutions for to get these trillions of dollars that we never see but goes out to the Ukrainian war, yeah, just had that ready for them, didn't they? How come that can't be for you? But they got trillions of dollars though. How come that can't be for better minimum wage? Think about it, bruh. And bringing cost of living down. Because it's all a hustle. They got to keep a problem going. They got to make it look like despair, and they got to keep homeless stuff. They got to have all these problems and storms and stuff. It's all about the hustle. They don't want you ever all to be rich. And that's what you need to think about. Well, who's going to be the slave? Who's going to be the slave if y'all all rich? If nobody's working, who's going to work these businesses? Oh, people that just like to go out and work. Hey, I bet you get $1 billion, you'll change your whole tune talking about a work ethic. Talking about a work ethic. I give you $1 billion, bro. Stop playing. Stop playing. Half of y'all, if I give you $1 billion, you ain't getting up in no 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. You ain't doing it. It won't serve no purpose. And sometimes you need to look at that. What if I had money? What would I be doing? You wouldn't be working, I tell you that. You'll be traveling the world, experiencing different cultures. Most of you. That's a 7 in itself. You wouldn't be here. I guarantee you. Oh, so you're gonna be in America with billions of dollars. You're just gonna be here. You're gonna leave. You're gonna leave as soon as you get the money. Man, you catching a plane. You leave it. You catching a plane with your money to find and to decide what you're gonna do with it. You getting out of America. If you get $1 billion, hey, I'm getting a ticket. Boom, out. Look. And then you over somewhere else, cross seas, counting your money, thinking, what am I gonna do? You ain't even gonna stand, you don't even wanna be here. You scared somebody gonna do something to you. You scared somebody gonna take your money. First thing you're gonna do when you get $1 billion, you leaving America and you're gonna go somewhere else so you can think clearly what you wanna do. Hey, I'm not deceiving you. They don't want you all to be rich because somebody has to work their corporations. So what you have to do? You got to mess with cost of living and minimum wage so that people will always be enslaved. See, the system of slavery is minimum wage and cost of living. Something that you never hear your presidents talk about, do they? You never hear them talk about it in plain English, and they claim this is our main language. But do you hear them talk in plain English about cost of living and minimum wage? You don't hear it, do you? Have you ever heard a president talk in plain English that the Americans speak? Never came down to earth to talking like they talk, did they? The closest politician that came down to close to talking like y'all was Barack Obama. He was the closest one. That's why you can't get over him. The rest of them never talk about cost of living and minimum wage. This is why they hate me. You see what I'm saying? I have the solutions. I do. Any of these other people tell you? Hey, did any of them tell you about the slavery is the cost of living and minimum wage? Did anybody tell y'all about that? Nobody told you that, did they? Nobody told you slavery is minimum wage and cost of living. They didn't tell you that, did they? That's how they keep everybody in this certain... Now you see what I'm saying? Now they keep everybody at a certain place and plane. that you don't get no big money. You don't, all of y'all ain't gonna get no big money because they messing with the cost of living and minimum wage. That's what it is. And y'all, so we ain't gonna never be free until you free from a system that got you like that. No one, listen, none of these presidents talks about critiquing this part of the system, do they? That's what I'm trying to show you. I done went past all the stuff I've been talking about. Gay marriage, child marriage, right? I done went past all of that, and I'm showing you what the real problem is, the crux of the matter. Cost of living and minimum wage, which you all should care about. Everybody healthy should care about this. But yet you can't get a wholesome, robust conversation about cost of living and minimum wage out of these politicians, can you? You can't get no robust conversation about it because they got a game, bro. They got a game locked in. Can't you see that? That's a hustle. For dope dealers and ex-dope dealers, that's a hustle. If they let you all get off the streets and cost of living and all of that, go and be down and minimum wage be up, who they gonna play, bruh? Who they gonna bamboozle? Okay, that's the hustle game. They gotta have somebody to hustle. Think about it. Okay, so nobody has no intention of hustling you. Okay. Look, man, the only way they're gonna put you to work is through hustling you. Put you in a desperate situation to make you feel like you gotta do it. And that's why they got the Mexican American community in place, because all those dynamics is out the way. They don't gotta do no manipulation. These guys come from over there in Mexico. They come straight here ready to do anything, wouldn't you? If you came to a new country, you gonna come be lazy? You gonna do whatever you gotta do. You're gonna be automatically motivated to do whatever. You ain't gonna be selective. You're gonna get on yourself if you're selective. You're gonna be mad at yourself if you're selective in another country. Dang, I shouldn't have turned down that. That's a job. I'm in another country. What I'm doing? You're gonna get on yourself. But see, when you get here long enough and you see what's going on long enough, like black people have, you say, hey, I know I can do better than that. You tripping. Shoot, I'd rather not even work. I gotta deal with these managers and crazy people, and I'm working for that, and I can't even get an apartment off that money. Nah, that's cool. I'm cool on that. You can call me lazy if you want to. I'm cool on that, bro. And that's the difference between the African American workforce perspective and the Mexican American workforce perspective. And what you think they're gonna choose? So all we are profitable for is the entertainment business, all of that. Where there's sports, where there's music, all of that, right? If you take that away, we're what are they gonna do? They're trying to find a way to take you out of their way. And honestly, this is what you need to listen to. Honestly, they already have one. All the killing, they can start putting you on curfews. They already been doing it for these when these shootings happen with the police with out there with black people, when police shoot black people, they already put people on curfew, so they conditioning you already. It wouldn't be strange. So they already conditioning you. You wouldn't think, oh, martial arts coming next. Because you've already been conditioned with the curfews during the riots. They already starting to condition you. And what people going to say, well, it is a lot of killing. We do need a curfew. Keep these people off the streets. The military need to run the streets at nighttime. Right or wrong? Think about it. Most Americans might say, that's kind of tricky though. Because it is a lot of crime. And it is getting out of control. And I have seen my last child being shot here in America. I don't feel it's necessary, but gun violence isn't necessary either, now is it? And now you thinking, you wondering if it's okay. You wondering if it's wrong yourself. Well, hey, if they off the streets at night, that might be better. And now you in the street, now you in the house, 10 o'clock per curfew. And the military, the National Guard is running the street now, all the metropolises. Now they got the National Guard everywhere. That's what I'm trying to show you, man. That's what I'm trying to show you. You want all they have to do is prove with enough numbers that you're doing too much killing out in the streets. That's all they got to prove. That's all they got to prove. And look at it for what it is. All these kids being killed, all this killing, they already halfway got the proof. All they got to do is get a little bit worse. And that's probably how they see it already. And that's where you need to check yourself and stop being biased. Think about it. Because now, see, the white man just smirking at you because he know as long as you keep being biased, you keep trying to hide that. You keep trying to hide that stuff. We gonna go ahead and use that against you. Go ahead and keep doing it. And then when it get bad enough, guess what we gonna do? We gonna put all y'all on curfew. We gonna put all of y'all on curfew. When it get bad enough, so you go ahead and keep on. You can be biased. Go ahead. I know what you're doing. I know it's a big problem. As long as you keep doing and going that direction, we'll be on our way soon. And what you need to learn is the art of knowing how your enemy thinks. You know how you think. You know that you feel like it's a struggle, this, that, and the third. You have compassion, right? But you do not have control here. The people that have control over you are not going to be feeling you. And that's all that matters. You can have me feeling you all day. You can have these rappers feeling you all day. But if you do not have the people that control your life, the powers that be, if you do not have them control, feeling you, they can put you on a curfew. And it would make sense according to all the killing that's going on. So you need to listen. I've been telling you this. You got to stop being biased for the sake of not being rejected by your community. It's serious. It's too serious to try to be biased. You don't think so, do you? That's why I got to keep saying to you. History is full of shocks, things that you did not expect. No one expected Hitler to do what he did. Hitler rose to power, put Jewish people in concentration camps. Who seen that coming? Especially in a time like that, in the early 1900s. Who would have ever thought that would have happened? In that time, when time was way more innocent. That time was way more innocent. Some people would say, and I'm not justifying nothing Hitler did, Hitler was way before his time. He was putting people in camps, bro. He was putting people in concentration camps, killing people. Going to war with all the people around and everything. That was way before his time. And no one, and here's the thing, no one seen that coming, did they? No one, and why they ain't prevented then? Obviously, no one seen it coming. And that's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. You get life, the world and history shows us shocks. Like Hitler rising to power. That's a shock. No one seen it coming. And humans make the same mistake. And like they say, if you don't learn from history, what? It will repeat itself, right? No differently. You're not learning from history. Life is full of shocks. You get secure in the security of America. It's not going to be able to hold up, bro. They made too many enemies. How can you stop? How can you stop all these hidden enemies that's all around the world? You thought I was an enemy. Listen, I was opposed first. They played you and made you think I was the aggressor. The bottom line is you figure out who's moral in the situation by who's the aggressor. Boom, that's the 7th hour. Well, I have a right to defend myself. I have a right to attack and bring war. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of who is the aggressor. Who initiated this? And that's all you need to figure out. Because that's your problem anyway. Whoever initiated it, I guarantee you they're the problem. And they will continue to be the problem. So it's not a matter of, who's at war, who's the problem. Is this person a problem, or saying this person the problem because they go into war? That's not getting down to it. Getting down to it is saying, okay, who was the aggressor? Who was the one that initiated this? Who was the one that physically initiated this problem? Right? That's how you figure out the situations. Not seeing what I'm doing and then saying, well, he's the problem. Well, that's you being simple-minded. That's you being simple-minded, bro. That's you being simple-minded. When this country has a history of oppressing and lying and character assassinating African Americans, even with the deception of, these days, he doesn't get along with other black people. You don't think they crafted that too? So I wouldn't have no support from them. Think about it. Duh. If I got this kind of level of information and I had the black people helping me, man, what couldn't I do? They had to divide and conquer. I know that people are simple, and you feeding into a simplistic way of thinking. I have showed no signs of being simplistic. Hey, I have showed no signs of being a simplistic person. How? When? Where? When have I showed myself to be simplistic? Can't find it, can you? But I can show you 1,000,000 times how you're simple-minded, thinking that, he's against America. Well, that's not uncommon in our times now, is it? And I'm just I'm an enemy that is justified. Now, listen, and I'm going to do a video about this. You got to start making video. You got to start understanding that America is making enemies that are justified. They're justified. I am a justified enemy. If they wronged me, they attacked me, I am a justified enemy. Your country is making justified enemies. They're making the enemies. They're making justified enemies. I didn't make enemies with them. They made enemies with me. You see the difference? There's a big difference. There's a big difference between me making enemies with them and them making enemies with me. And you can't be simple-minded. You can't be simple-minded. You can't be simple-minded. You can't be simple-minded. Okay, so I'm not worried about what you think, because all I know is all that they got out there is a complete clown show. That's all it is. And they're scared of someone like me that is in my right mind. They can't take my mind. I can tell everything and every move they got. Boom, out. My mind is good. I slip on the words, slip on the thoughts, slip on this. I'm good, bro. Boom. But they're not good. When they're marrying children in 43 states, how can you esteem them as sound of mind? Would you do that in your right mind? But you esteem them as if they are in their right minds. Why? Because he put on the nice suit. The white man put on a nice suit, but he in his right mind because he put on a suit. A white man. See, listen. Many of you minorities, you esteem, without him even trying at this point, you esteem the white man as perfect and holy and right in all situations. Boom, out. This is 7. You made him right in this situation. How's he right? He got any information? Okay, so you really don't know what you're talking about, do you? So all you do know is it's a black man that they're playing with. That's what you do know, don't you? Okay, so then you need to think about the history that the American government has with black people. I know I have to break it down. It's stuff that most old people and OGs know. I have to break it down, I guess, to the new crowd. I got to break it down to the new crowd, don't I? The history that the American government has with black people. Countless bad situations. And yeah, here you are with this McDonald meets Ringley Brothers foolish show out here, like as if I've done something to them and they're not tangibly being killed. You see me catching bodies? Do you see me leaving out of anybody stinking? So I'm not killing anybody, am I? I don't have any tangible operations. You don't hear any tangible operations on these videos, do you? You don't hear me talking about blowing up any buildings, or you don't hear any tangible operations, do you? Against any type of people, black, white, gay. You don't hear me talking about killing anybody, really, do you? At all, do you? You know, I can stand my ground as a person that presents a threat as far as protecting myself. That's what I'm supposed to do as a man. But you don't hear about no tangible operations, do you? That's why I can talk to anybody. I can talk to the FBI, CIA, and anybody else you want to bring. That's how you know I'm the real thing, buddy. Because you bow your head to them and I don't. The FBI, CIA, anybody you want to bring can come. You don't have tangible operations. I can have my point of view. I can feel the way I want to feel. Especially when it comes to this 43 states of child marriage. Me knowing this, I'm a legitimate enemy. I can choose to oppose you on the strength of that. I can choose to be your enemy based on that. You don't realize that? That's why listen, man, this is the kingdom of God, bro. I don't even have to listen. I don't even have to mention that gay stuff. I don't even have to mention it. I don't even have to mention gay marriage. You have 43 states of child marriage. How about that part of marriage that you got going on? And it's over with, right? I can consider myself an enemy of America and everybody feel me. That's what it is, bro. So when they out here with this clown show like Ringley Brothers meet, McDonald's or something. Come on, man. Man, listen, you should want to throw up. How corny that